it is at a severe disadvantage. See, while I have the benefit of the fact that I recorded these things and I can go back and listen to them. If I want to go back and listen to just one particular video or one particular recording, I got to go through a lot of evidence to do that. When somebody wants a recording that I have to go digging for it. Meanwhile, these people were supposed to be helping me. They didn't help me. And the reason that I'm digging through the recordings is because now they're telling me things that are a complete 180 from what they told me before. A lot of people fucked up really big. They didn't want to admit it. They had every chance and every opportunity. When they wanted to be assholes and tyrants, see, that's the problem about living in somebody else's environment, not having your own place, is that they can be tyrants. They're allowed to be tyrants. Inside of their house, that's their house, not yours. So you have to mind your P's and Q's, and if there's abuse, you just have to take it. You have to keep your mouth shut and do nothing. Well, I'm not someone who's real good about keeping his mouth shut, so I made sure that I got a hold of someone and let them know. Whether or not they cared is arbitrary. I tried to let Maddie Boa know what the real situation was with me and Natalie before I was ever out of Virginia. And she let me know about the slander already. She said that Alicia Bollinger claimed I had threatened her and her family in Virginia. That's not the fucking truth. Show me one shred of fucking evidence. One shred of evidence. Claiming that I was threatening her and her family. No, show me. Show me the fucking proof. There is none. But when it's a homeless male, it doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They say it's not going to do any good. And it doesn't do any good because they don't fucking try. They don't try because they don't think it'll do any good. It doesn't do any good because they don't try. And that's why the cops get to get away with saying whatever they want. Now me, without somebody present, they get to play on the mentally ill thing. They blew me off before Natalie was killed. Over and over again. And afterwards. Again, same thing. As long as they push the mentally ill thing and try to pretend to the public that I am a violent schizophrenic, you will allow them to do whatever the fuck they want. While I've been showing literal threats against my life and against my loved ones' lives. These people have to go out of their way to pretend. They have to literally break the law by taking it out of context intentionally. Somehow, magically, in the entire video, she only heard one little sentence, and it was a question. It wasn't a threat. This judge helped them. And the reason that they were able to get away with it is because when it would actually make a difference, people blew me off, and I have the evidence of them blowing me off. I also have the evidence that I told the truth about them. Doesn't matter how much I post on the internet, I need help showing it in fucking court. That means one of you needs to fucking look at it. Not call me up, tell me you're fucking sorry that happened to me. It didn't happen to me. I still live in this shit. Cops still use that jurisdiction bullshit as an excuse not to do their fucking jobs. They still slander the homeless and the disabled nationwide. You don't fucking listen to us. You're too busy talking about yourselves. You don't have time, you don't have time, you don't have time. So I go try to find somebody else. And I end up having to do desperate shit. And you say, why didn't you ask me? I fucking did. Like when Misegadis tried claiming, oh, well, you never asked me to call those places. The fuck I didn't. You told me it wasn't your job. You told me it wasn't your job. That's one of the things that is the job of an advocate. That's the reason that Amanda DeMette was so pissed off at you. Because you got that title but aren't fulfilling the duties. That's the reason the Dual County got away with playing like I had an advocate. And it's not their fault you didn't do your job. You seeing how that gets played out? When you don't fucking take the time to speak up? I am a disabled adult. It is against the law for you to hide those things, Meg. A lot of people want to say, oh, well, you're blackmailing me with those recordings. No, I'm not blackmailing you. I've given you every opportunity to come forward and tell the truth. If your truth now is not same as your truth then, well, you got some splaining to do. Fucking dumbasses. You fucked up. You don't want to admit that you fucked up, and you certainly don't want to admit that there were consequences for me because you fucked up. You did not take that situation seriously. That is not my fault. A lot of people, when I tell them about the shit that I'm going through, they say it's not my fault. These are the people that I'm told to go to, these supposed professionals. If it is not your job, you need to speak up in court. But you need to tell the truth and the whole truth. You don't get to blame me over your bad assumptions. You don't get to blame me when you made bad decisions over bad assumptions. You don't get to blame me. I called you because I was told to call you. And I explained it to you repeatedly. These cops are pretending like I'm lying to them when I'm telling them it's not your job because you keep on telling me it's not your job. You needed to tell them. That's the fucking point. You wasted my time and did not take it seriously. You admitted that you made zero effort to do those things because you assumed they wouldn't do any good. Meanwhile, this is all the shit that lawyers told me that I needed to do. Don't tell me it won't do any good and then play fucking pocket lawyer. See, that's the thing. Between doing the right thing and everybody saying it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Telling the truth is not going to work. Writing a police report is not going to work. That's because you didn't fucking try. You were too busy making excuses. They called me mentally ill. That means I'm not allowed to defend myself. That means I don't have the rights that you keep telling me that I have. I keep telling you about the actual experience of it, and you want to argue. No! There's a bunch of stuff that Misegadis admitted to in that conversation. And in that literal same recording, same conversation, not cut, not edited. She admits to those things and then she claims they didn't happen. Which is it, Meg? And why are you doing both in the same exact video? Then you want to jump all over the timeline. She said she's going to go back and look at the timeline. I hope she does. I'm mad at these people because they made false claims. They dragged their feet. The whole time I'm having to take abuse from people in town I don't even know, as well as Christopher Kurth, as well as Robert Warnick, as well as Sandy Fromm. It's not my fault that people didn't do the right thing. At least I did. If you're too much of a coward to speak up publicly, you know these things are wrong. You know they're immoral. You didn't fucking take it seriously, though. With Meg, she talks about specific situations, and then she tries to claim that I didn't give her any specifics. The hell I didn't. See, here's the thing with all the stuff in the past that they want me to pretend didn't exist. That turned my life upside down and forced me into this situation. I finally got assistance. Now, my dad, he was very unfriendly with me for all of my adult life because, in his opinion, I was supposed to have disability at 18. It was going to be a click of a button on a computer, and magically I was going to be getting disability, and I'd have an advocate and a guardian, and that's just the way it was. Well, no, he beat me up over an F on a report card that was his fault. It was my dad's fault for not buying the school uniform that was required for PE. Now, how stupid is that? My dad beat me up over that F a few times. But as a freshman in high school, getting an A+ in advanced horticulture, that's college horticulture. Getting an A+ in college horticulture. I want you to imagine that. I told true stories, but rather than admit that I told true stories, people wanted to hide off in the fucking corner. And then when they have something they're going through that's similar, it is so much tinier, so much smaller. Yeah, they're going through something similar now. And now they want my help. They want me to do the things that they wouldn't do for me. These tweakers, just like every woman in America, know the right words to say to have a man hated, targeted, and abused. And then you pretend that because I literally have to scream for help. That's the thing. All these people want to say, take it down, take it down. No, it's the truth. I'm not going to take the truth down. These people who blew me off for months and months and months, Miss Peach is blowing me off for months. All of these people that I knew in person claiming that they were going to speak up, they were going to do something, they were gonna. But while I was waiting on them to make the time, I was taking so much abuse that they didn't even want to hear about. What good is sending people evidence if they're not going to look at it? What good is sending people evidence, spending all of that time and energy when it takes a lot of work to send you that shit? But you're just interested in the entertainment factor. You're never going to speak up. I need you guys to write police reports and contact the FBI about these sites. I've tried. Nobody has actually helped me in person. Mandy Singer was going to try to help in person, and she certainly did try. But here's the thing, we had to work around a lot of things that, well, due to the threats and harassment and intimidation by Dual County Sheriff's Department, I wasn't able to go see Mandy Singer on the day that I was supposed to. Sean Holloway, one of my predators. None of these officers should have ever been allowed at my door. It should have been the Nebraska State Patrol since 2018. But then again, Nebraska State Patrol officers, 2 of them, were involved in Natalie's situation before Natalie was killed. It was a Dual County deputy and 2 Nebraska State Patrolmen, 1 male and 1 female, who took me to the Sydney Hospital in, I want to say, January 7th or January 8th of 2017. This is only a few months after leaving Virginia. They were taking me in on suicide watch. Because while I was trying to tell my friends what was going on, and they were just blowing me off, and I was stuck in Chapel, fucking Nebraska, and everybody that I went to for help there, you got no idea how they treated me. It wasn't that they were trying to be mean or rude or inconsiderate or evil people. They just didn't care. They kept blowing me off. They kept telling me, did you do this? Did you do that? You know how many times all these people who want to paint me as some horrible person and pretend that there were no consequences for me. They want to pretend that these consequences are because I had to do desperate things. If you hadn't done those desperate things, I'd be able to help you. No, I did those desperate things because you weren't helping me. I get that people didn't want their lives threatened by the same people who are threatening my life and many other lives. I get that. I get that a lot of people made fake profiles to threaten people and that those profiles are taken down now. I got plenty of those in my own fucking files. But you know what? When I was able to take screenshots, that's what I did. That gives me an advantage if I'm allowed to show them. But with Megan Misegadis, she doesn't have that advantage because she wasn't doing that. She does have the advantage of having paperwork and organizational skills and a place to actually do that. I don't have a place to actually do that. I don't have a place where I can stop and just make these calls and actually be able to record them, which is what needs to happen. These people are pissed off because they ate their words. They ate their own words. I never said that. Well, here's the fucking recording, but I'm not just going to send it to you. I'm going to post it on the internet. You lied. You outright lied and tried to cover it up. That's different from making a mistake. See, it's all right to make mistakes, but if you don't admit to it, it's not a mistake. There are things that are other people's fault, but if you try to cover up anything at all, it becomes your fault. Let me explain it to you like this. Let's say that there's a couple of really large vehicles on the right-hand side of the road. Speed limit is 25. You're going 25. Somebody steps out from in between these 2 vehicles and you can't hit on your brakes fast enough. That person is dead now. Let's say it's a man. It could be a woman, it could be a child, whoever. But this person is dead because you hit them with your car. Or with your truck, or whatever it happens to be that you were driving. They're dead. No, it's not your fault. Now, yes, people can try to word it to make it your fault. But there's details that are important. It is a crime scene. If the cops show up and they actually care to do their jobs, they're going to notice that there's 2 very large vehicles. They're going to see where it is that you were, where this person launched to. They're going to be able to figure out, well, where was your vehicle? Where did this person step out from? Obviously, this person didn't step out of the middle of a vehicle. They stepped out in between 2 very large ones and got smacked. Now you You might be afraid that because you don't have any insurance on your vehicle, that now you're going to be charged with vehicular homicide. Well, it's not vehicular homicide. It's not even vehicular negligence. You didn't do anything wrong. You literally did nothing wrong. Someone is dead, but you didn't actually do anything wrong. But you're afraid. So what do? You get out and pick up the body and put it in your vehicle and drive off and dump it somewhere because you're afraid. You're like, you know what, this person's dead, it don't matter, I can't bring them back to life, but at the same time, I got a family, I got kids, I got a wife, I got a dog, whatever. So you try to hide your crime so you don't lose all that. And these officers even talk to each other in front of me at times like that, telling other officers, hey man, I know you want to help this guy out. But he ain't worth losing your job and your kids over. Like, are you fucking serious? You telling this officer he'll lose his job and his kids if he tells the truth? That's fucking screwed up. But meanwhile, I collected the evidence. I sent a lot of it to Meg. A lot of it. And there's a lot of it that I don't have the ability to send to Meg. It's not that I don't want to. I don't have the ability. It's not that I haven't tried. It's that I don't have the ability. I don't have the time. You guys think that I have all the time in the world with access to all of these wonderful things, and I have that access 24 hours a day, and I don't. Most of the time, I'm lucky I'm able to make a recording. But you know what? I don't have any fucking friends. I have 0 friends in real life. The people who claim that they were my friends, they're nowhere to be fucking seen. They're not gonna fucking speak up for me about the things that they know. They're gonna force me to record conversations with them where they admit it. Of course, everyone knows I record their conversations now. So they're a lot less likely to be honest. That doesn't stop me. A lot of people say you need to get away from those people. I've moved over 40 times. Or with situations like with Sarah Bacon and many, many people like that who wanted to tell me about their families being threatened. And when I spoke up about it, fucking crickets. If you were threatened and your family was threatened for trying to help me, I need you to understand I was treated like I was schizophrenic for saying it. I was cut off from communication with you repeatedly by law enforcement and by the public. You say I shouldn't have screamed. I was screaming for help. People are hurting me. When I say it nicely and calmly, just like with Meg Misegadis, you all blow me off. I've been saying this since before Meg Misegadis was ever involved. When you're a homeless, disabled, unattractive white male, yeah, you are not a human being to American society. You are to be blown off. It's not that I didn't try, it's that these people made excuses. It's not that I didn't try, it's these people assumed. And later on, when I expose that, they want to be angry. And right at the very beginning, I didn't have the ability to record most of those people. When I did have the ability, though, that's what I did. With those very first phones, they were so full, and I didn't have any other electronic devices. Yes, I absolutely gave my phone and my computer to both of the detectives in Natalie's case. There were actually 4 detectives. There was Peterson, Hyatt, I didn't get Erica's last name, and what was the other one? Jai Rogers, that's what it was. So, I mean, there were more than just those 2. And those officers, all of them had told me if there was a problem to get a hold of them. Well, I did get a hold of them repeatedly about the issues that were going on, about the abuse that was going on. I tried to explain to them that I couldn't get them what it is that they were asking for unless they could get Boulder Police Department off my fucking ass. Unless they could get the police and the public to stop abusing me or help me to get into a safe environment where I can work on this shit and get them what they're asking for. The reason that I was in contact with Danica Garner and Rochelle Shelley Campbell, they were going to help me to get that stuff to the fucking cops. But they didn't. And they sure as fuck didn't look at it themselves. This is a lot of fucking work and in an impossible situation, and all these people saying it's not their fault. It doesn't matter if it's your fault or not, it is the facts. The reason that none of that was allowed in court is because you forced me to break the law! You forced me to break the law! You forced me to break those windows by neglect! I told you repeatedly what those cops were telling me. And it's not just your neglect. Everyone treats the disabled and the homeless like this. Everyone! Including other disabled and homeless people. They're pissed off because they're sick of being treated like retards. But they don't mind treating you like a retard because there's no consequences. You're the shit stick on the fucking totem pole. Nobody fucking cares. And a lot of people keep typing that at me. Nobody cares. Exactly! The law is not being observed because nobody cares. There was no civilian oversight. What did it take for Meg Misegadis to actually put forth the effort? What did it take? It took an assault by Scott DaCosta and State Trooper Lassen. All right, I closed that time. The fact that I had to go back to Scott DaCosta and his department after everything that they had done, after me being repeatedly refused the right to turn them in over and over and over again, being told I had to turn them into themselves, which is a conflict of interest. But then again, there was FBI officers who also took part in these crimes. The FBI won't listen to me. I had to make those calls by myself because the people who were supposed to care did not. They procrastinated. I had to make those calls myself, even while these people promised me that they would make these calls with me. The longer it took, the more abuse I took, but they couldn't even take the time to hear about the abuse I was going through. We're looking at the evidence of the abuse. People said, Sean, you're sending me too much at once. God, I didn't send them shit. Sorry, folks. I'm driving. I'm not a very safe driver, as you can probably tell. I shouldn't be driving. That's because of PTSD. You guys are allowed to feel sad when one of your loved ones goes missing or dies, but I'm not. Tell me I just need to get over it. A lot of my loved ones are dead. A lot of people have thrown it in my face, trying to pretend like I'm being inconsiderate because one of our mutual friends died. Trying to act or pretend like I never cared about those people, and like it's okay for them to cry, like it's okay for them to feel sorrow. My own brother, even. Meanwhile, how heartless is he towards me? Quite. It's not that I didn't go to everyone that I was told to go to. It's not that I didn't call everyone there is to call. It's that all those people said that it wasn't their job, and then they didn't communicate with others. They didn't communicate that information to others. The general public still thinks that it's this person's job and it's that person's job. And then after the fact, I've got all these assholes who want to get on and say it's not their job, it's not their job. I know it's nobody's fucking job. It's still against the law. I can also see very plainly and clearly that it literally is all these places' jobs because I've looked into many case laws. You know what the difference between my situation and all of these other case laws? These other case laws, people had actual help, actual people in their corner. I believe that falsely accusing a man, especially of sexual assault, should be a felony. Now, the people who accused me of that wasn't Natalie Bollinger and that wasn't Alicia Bollinger. That's the shit I was being assaulted over. People were saying those things because, well, Matty Boa knew that I didn't stalk Natalie to Virginia. Matty Boa planned the trip with me. When Natalie called me up and was gonna fucking kill herself, and I wasn't already on the road, I didn't have enough to go. I had enough to get there, but that's it. I would have been stranded there. And that is a very scary thing, stranded with no support. But then she tried to kill herself, so I made sure that I went, even when I didn't have enough money. I was halfway there. I had enough money to actually go see some people. I was going to go see Ed Simmons. I was going to go see Amanda DeMette. But then what happened? Jamie Curtis got a hold of me. Told me she needed a hero. I let Natalie know what was going on. She said it was okay. So I spent the money that I was going to use to go see Ed Simmons and that I was going to go use to see Amanda DeMette, that I was going to go use to go see Moose. It's Brett Roloff. I spent that money to go rescue Jamie. Now, James Payton verified, yes, I was there. I did help to move Jamie out of his household. Now, there's one of these channels, and the guy's trying to claim that he wants his channel to be about telling the truth, even if he's the only one. Well, he's got his chance, he's got his opportunity. He's typed to me several times already. When Natalie first disappeared, I dropped trying to take her to court and just focused on helping find her. When people are saying, oh, and Sean broke the protection order by threatening to kill Tim Beeson and Ted Bollinger, that's an outright fucking lie. Natalie got that protection order because I threatened to expose Tim Beeson and Ted Bollinger. I did absolutely retaliate. Retaliate doesn't mean kill people. It could. But did I kill those people? No, I didn't. Did I threaten to kill those people? No, I didn't. I exposed them. Big fucking difference. That's because, unlike most of you, murder is not the first thing to come to mind for me. Violence and killing, like what Sarah Bacon does. Violence and killing, that's first thought through her mind. The first thought through my mind is to tell someone, to show someone, this is what I was taught you're supposed to do as a kid. Obviously, it doesn't work. And that's what I'm trying to show you. That's what I'm trying to teach you. You are teaching your kids to be victims. You are teaching your kids that if they are victimized, you will watch it happen, or you will look away, but you won't lift a goddamn finger to help them. When your child is autistic and there's a problem at school, you want to tell yourself that your kid probably got it wrong because they're retarded. They probably got it wrong because they're retarded. They probably got it wrong because they're retarded. Autism is not the same as retardation. A lot of women don't get diagnosed with autism until later in life. There's a reason for that. Later in life, they can manipulate a doctor after they've done so many fucking drugs that their brain doesn't work right. They did a bunch of fucking drugs, and they learned how to manipulate like every other girl in America. Girls are taught to manipulate. We teach every girl in America to manipulate, to play on a man's emotions, or on his sex drive, or both. Well, that's not okay. But we have literally taught all these girls that it's okay because men are stronger than them. No, men aren't stronger than women. Are you fucking kidding me? Desiree could break me in half on accident. Holy shit. You think I'd want to step into the ring with Ronda Rousey even after she got her ass kicked by a dude? No. I'm not physically capable. A lot of people like, all right, Riley Lawton, that's my niece's dad. Riley Lawton, he said, you should have pulled out your martial arts and whooped Robert Warnick's ass. I'm like, dude, I can barely stand up. Are you fucking kidding me? That's the thing, Riley. I've been abused a fucking shit ton. I can barely function as a human being. I've been trying to tell you that. But you're so busy telling me what to think and what to feel and what to do. And it's not okay. Riley was telling me about how he'd use a rifle in these situations. He even told me about his rifle. All these people are prepared. There's a reason that I support the Second Amendment. Riley Lawton is prepared. If anybody tries to fuck with my niece, he will fucking shoot them, thank God. If people try to harm Candace Bondurant or her kids, she will shoot them between the eyes with a .45. Thank God. If anyone fucks with Sarah Bacon's family, comes to her house to fuck with her kids, same thing. Either her or her husband will fucking shoot them. Thank God. Thank God for the Second Amendment. With these people threatening Candace Bondurant to the point that she runs and hides like a coward. People threatening Sarah Bacon over the situation with Natalie Bollinger. Thank God they have guns. Thank God they have guns to protect their families from people like Ted Bollinger. Thank God for their guns. Personally, I'd rather thank science. But you know what? Because of them guns, the biggest, brawniest brute doesn't get to be the winner every time. If you got a 300-pound man who thinks that he's going to rape a 94-pound girl, well, guess what? He can do that easily, unless she's armed. Thank God for the Second Amendment. Ted Bollinger is a felon. He is not even allowed to own firearms. He got busted with an illegal firearm and methamphetamines after Natalie's death and was still let out. They still let him out. I was painted as a villain by the media, and then people wanted to call in. Call in, call in. Call in, no matter where I went. Call it in. Oh, that crazy guy's here. You know what? I've already spoken to the cops. The cops are looking for you. I went to Starbucks, talked to Miss Bobby. While I was there, the cops came in. A man walked up to me and handed me $50 in front of those cops, and I handed that $50 because I was pretty sure I was going to be arrested for a murder I didn't commit. I handed that $50 immediately to the guy that was with me. And his name is on my YouTube channel and my Facebook as well. I didn't hide shit. Because they railroaded me in the courts there. They get to use that reputation to deny me my rights in every other court date and pretend that's my MO. No, my MO is to try to get fucking help, to go to the people that I'm told to get help from. The people who blew me off include Megan Misegadis. She blew me off and blew me off and blew me off, and it's not her job. Then she needs to let people know. If that is not what the Autism Society of Nebraska does, or its advocates, you need to let the news media know. You need to let the cops know, and you need to say so publicly. You need to have a public dossier written up and typed up, explaining why you did not do those things. You need to write it down on fucking paper. All of these places, that it's not their job. If they're going to write down on paper something different than what is in the recordings, well, guess what? I've got the advantage because I've got the recordings. Now, as far as the cops go, they've got the advantage because they get to control the evidence. They get to control whether or not those body cameras are shown or seen. That's why I needed someone there with me and why I needed to record those situations. And you get to hear from those cops how they keep on changing their minds about the law. They keep on changing their minds about it. The law is one way when it comes to me, and it's another way when it comes to Leslie Snell or the Bollingers or Robert Franklin Warnick. That's right. Dual County Sheriff's Department coordinated with somebody that I was trying to turn in. And here's the thing, is that all of this should have been taken care of through the Nebraska State Patrol, who wouldn't do shit. Now, after I got out of prison, Meg Misegadis wants to magically remember things different. Well, I've got the recordings, stupid. She wants to be angry that I'm talking about her memory issues. You know why I go back and listen to those videos? Some of that shit happened 5 years ago. I don't remember it exactly perfectly. It's been 5 fucking years. There's stuff that I do remember perfectly, night and day. A lot of those people that I was in contact with, I got to go back and look. I have to go back and look. Who was it exactly who said that? Which officer exactly was it that said that? Which this, which that? I have to go back through and make sure that I have my information correct when I'm speaking about it, because autism is a communication disability. The more overwhelmed I am, the less likely I am to be able to speak as clearly and concisely as I need to, especially in such a complicated situation. A lot of people are dead. Mobley's dead. Christine is dead. Mobley is Stephen McMillian. Christine is Christine Buhey, or Christine Lushinger. A lot of people are dead. And it was because none of these people cared. None of these people cared until I had to do desperate shit. Until I had to literally scream at the top of my lungs. And then they want to use that as their excuse for never helping me. No, 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 no. I didn't start off screaming at the top of my lungs. I started off asking for help. I followed the protocol that you're told to go through. Go to your bully, tell them how it makes you feel, and ask them to stop. Well, that didn't work. You're supposed to go to your friends, safety in numbers. Well, that didn't work. You're supposed to go to a person with a position of authority, like a teacher, or a preacher, or a cop, or your parents. That didn't work. It only works if they care. Telling people about the abuse doesn't matter if they don't care. Trying to show them the evidence doesn't matter if they don't care. They're not going to fucking look. A lot of people made empty promises not expecting me to show up. Well, if you didn't mean it, you shouldn't have said it. Then there's a lot of people who want to judge me for going to those places where those people said that they would help me with the things that I needed help with, and those people didn't. And then I get told, oh, well, they gave you a sandwich, basically. Well, they fed you. Fuck, they shouldn't have had to. If Shannon Alvarado hadn't been drunk, she could have helped me with the things that she said she'd help me with. I could have gotten my disability money back. Then she wouldn't have had to feed me. I'd have had my own money to feed myself. That money was taken away because I had to do something desperate, because I wasn't just being abused by the public. I was being abused by police and people like George Helmstetter. I've got him recorded on my YouTube channel speaking about one of those assaults. They did that repeatedly. They repeatedly went out of their way to escalate a situation that was already volatile. I was already scared shitless to talk to the police because of how I had been treated by police. You know what? All these people telling me they're afraid. Well, I'm afraid too, but I don't have a choice. It's either take this abuse or fight with the hope that someone might care enough to look at the evidence, actually listen, instead of arguing. How can Meg be an autism advocate if all she is going to do is argue? If she's not going to admit that her bad assumptions had consequences for others, that her lack of effort had consequences for others. When she finally did make that effort, she made just enough effort that she could say that she did those things, and that was it. When I got out of prison, she told me she wouldn't be able to help me with the things that she was trying to help me with before I went to prison. Then she wants to say, oh, you never asked me to call any of these places. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's the thing about the recordings. I didn't want to post up the recordings because I was trying to be nice to her. She talks about her family and those things, and she doesn't want that out there. Well, then come forward. The reason that I want to post it is because it shows I was telling the fucking truth. Unfortunately for her, she's just going to dig herself a hole saying things that were untrue that I have recorded. I recorded that shit with Dallas Richmond. I recorded that shit with Zach Richmond. I recorded it. I made sure it was recorded. I post up that I have the evidence. I post up even the evidence itself. There are people on my friends list on Facebook that I've known in real life for many years that wanted to tell me, well, you have to have evidence. I know I have to have evidence. I have the evidence, dumbass. I've been saying that and posting it for years. With Mandy Singer, there was one point at her house where, all right, she was fucking completely stressed out and she needed someone to take it out on. Needed. It's an overwhelming need. That's one of the things about MPD. Like, BPD, borderline personality disorder. You get stressed and you lash out. Well, I don't get stressed and just lash out like that, not at the beginning. I do now. I've got complex PTSD from severe quantities of abuse. It's not that I didn't try to turn it in. It's these professionals that you're told to turn it into don't do anything. Not when you're called mentally ill. You have to have a guardian present, or they're not going to. They already know that it's a losing battle, and they're not even going to try. That's why it took Megan Misegadis 6 months to even try. To even begin to try. Because, see, she didn't make any actual, real effort to actually speak out until after I broke those fucking windows. At that point, that's when finally she was able and willing to explain, that's not my job. That's when she finally started to sort of take it seriously. Now, she didn't take it actually seriously enough to actually help me to organize these things. I didn't have the ability because of the abuse by law enforcement, the public, the Bollingers, and the media. People saying there's nothing they can do. No, you're fucking full of shit. You can speak out about how fucking wrong this is. You can take a look at the evidence so they can't pretend it doesn't exist. You can speak out publicly about it. You can share that information, which is what I've been asking you to do. You won't try. And that's not my fault. If you cared, you would. Natalie Bollinger is dead. Christine Buhit is dead. A lot of other people are dead because you wanted to neglect a disabled homeless man. A man who is abused because he's autistic. And then you pretend that I'm schizophrenic. You guys killed my friends. That's what you did by not listening to me. By continuing to talk about yourselves. Only you matter. Only you are important. If you didn't come forward because your kids were sick, well, how many days does that give you an excuse for? Your kid has the flu for a week, but after that week is done, why didn't you speak up? After 6 years of nonstop excuses over and over again, it's always some excuse. These people want to fucking pour poison in my ear. That's not a schizophrenic thing. That's a reference to some old stories from the Homeric age. One of the difficulties that I have is references. A lot of people are too stupid or ignorant to understand references, or they've got too much invested. They want to tell the truth and they want to play victim, so they'll twist it into whatever they want. I have to be afraid of saying kill two birds with one stone because somebody might pretend that I'm threatening to kill them and get away with it. There's no consequences for these people lying or misrepresenting the situation, although these things are against the law. And then you want to tell me that they're not against the law because somebody who took part in helping to break that law, or those laws, because there's a lot of them, claims it's not against the law. No, those cops outright lied. And then people want to tell me, oh, you have to go to cops. And then they tell me, oh, well, the cops are allowed to lie to you. Holy shit. You want me to trust people who are allowed to lie to me, who are allowed to assault me, who are allowed to lie in court. It's against the law for them to do those things. But when you're called mentally ill, everyone knows that they will get away with it. They know for a fact that they will get away with it. However, if someone goes in with you, your guardian, or someone who is informed, and they speak up with you, and they verify that you are telling the fucking truth, instead of making me record it months after the fact, because after all of their months of making promises they never did, people are fucking dead. You want to be pissed off about your last name being out there? Or say, well, if I hear my address, you know what? The Nebraska Autism Society's address is on my YouTube channel. You were fine with it. I don't have your home address. That's the reason that there was no subpoenas served to you, Megan Misegadis. I didn't have your home phone number. I got 3 different phone numbers for you. None of them are your home phone number. They're all work lines through professional stuff as an advocate through the Nebraska Autism Society. You want to pretend that I might, though? Whose numbers have I given out? Did I give out Leslie Snell's number? No, I didn't. How about William Barr's number? No, I didn't, but I'm about to. And I'm about to give out yours as well. I want people to be able to call you guys up and give you a small dose of what they've given me. Because you wouldn't do shit about it when it happens to me. And it's still happening to me. You need to actually speak the fuck up. You are a witness, and it is against the law for you not to. People keep saying, have you gone to the media? Yes, I've gone to the media. They don't give a shit. They slandered the fuck out of me. They don't want to admit that they fucking lied. This is what it's like when you're a disabled person. This is what you have to go through. Because they have badges, they must be right. Because they called you mentally ill, you must be wrong. It was never about evidence. It was about casting doubt so people wouldn't look. So people would treat me like I was crazy instead of looking. This is not fucking okay.